10:02. It's 10:02 and we'll call this meeting to order. Is there any public comment regarding any of the agenda items? Okay, none. Next would be the election of the chairperson and vice chair. Take nominations for the chairperson.
Nominate Tim May.
I'll second.
Is there anybody else? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And we'll take nominations for the vice chair. Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. Is there anybody else? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, do I have a motion to approve the minutes from the December 14th, 2022 coordinating committee meeting?
So moved.
I'll second that.
I'll second.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay, the 2023 through 2026 Transportation Improvement Program. Financial modifications, Brandon?
Thank you very much. Can everyone hear me okay?
Got you,
Yes.
Brandon.
Perfect. All right. Thank you. So I'll see if it's coming up on the screen here, but if they wanted to share the modifications this month. The first one there, we can actually touch that first. That's the informational item. So I'll jump down to item B there. This was an administrative action to add a HSIP project to the 2023 Erie Highway Bridge tip. This project was the district, it's actually for the whole district, but it's a District 1 HSIP VRU, that stands for Vulnerable Road User Pedestrian Countdown Timers project. And this is an informational item because all this funding came from the HSIP set aside reserve, which is a statewide line item. So this is money being added to the Erie tip, additional money for that to put this project on the tip. And this project is part of a statewide initiative for each district was creating these pedestrian countdown timer projects. And this is to not only help meet the HSIP federal obligation requirement we have this year, that we're required to obligate some funds statewide with the HSIP funding flavor. But also it helps us as a state to meet the reduction of vulnerable road user fatalities and serious injuries. So that was done last month and is now on the tip. And if we want to scroll down to the next page there, we can cover the administrative modifications. Since last month's TAC meeting, there were just 3 administrative modifications to the 2023 tip. And I just wanted to touch on the first one there because that was an item that required program center, what we call CPDM approval, because the total increase of the total cost increase for MPMS 99753 with a cost increase from last fall in addition to this late winter exceeded $1 million. So that does require the approval. It was approved by central office on actually the 3rd of February, but so it was approved technically before the prior to the TAC meeting last month, but we were not able to get it on to discuss at this meeting. So in all, the cost increase was $578,000 in federal NHPP funds and $267,000 in federal HSIP funds. These were added to federal fiscal year 2024. And the Erie Highway Bridge line item was used as the funding source. With that being said, were there any questions about the other two administrative modifications or anything that was covered here in the past couple of minutes? I'd be happy to help answer. Okay. Thank you very much. I'll turn it over for the next agenda item.
So I just wanted to quickly touch base. We had an e-ballot for the coordinating committee in January for Niemeyer Road Bridge. That was approved via e-ballot. And we can enter that into the official record. So we don't need a vote on this again because we voted by e-ballot. So we can move on to the performance targets. So can you go down to, keep going? Yeah, okay. So we do need to vote on performance measures. So as per federal guidelines, we need to adopt targets called PM2 and PM3. They're performance measures 2, which are for the condition of the NHS pavement and bridges. So the national highway system. So mostly the condition of things like the interstates and high ADT roads. And then PM3, which is the level of congestion or reliability on the roads of the national highway system and the statewide air quality. So these are targets we are required by the feds to plan towards. Luckily, we have great resources at PennDOT who have created sample targets for us that are the most lenient they can be within the federal guidelines. If you want to go down. So I would recommend that we adopt the targets that PennDOT has provided for us for PM2 and PM3. I know in-house, we don't really have the capabilities to create and monitor all of the condition of pavement and bridges and congestion. So I would highly recommend this committee adopt the PennDOT targets. So with that,
Okay, do I have a motion to approve the PM-2 condition of NHS pavement and bridges?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. And then PM-3 level of congestion and air quality.
I'll make that motion as well.
And I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, and then transportation study funds application.
all right, this is me again. There are $80,000 available for a transportation study. Keep going down a bit. Down. Yes, down. Down. Sorry, a lot of paperwork. There we go. So there's $80,000 available with a 10% local match for any municipality or transportation authority in Erie County that would like to do a transportation study. So basically, anything that needs to be investigated, potentially with public involvement, these funds cannot be used for implementation of a specific project, but anything that requires a study, you can apply for these funds. And the applications are due April 24th, 2023. So if you could fill out this application that's included with the meeting materials and return it to me by April 24th, the TAC will discuss and vote on recommendations at our next meeting. All right. So next agenda item.
Thank you. Number 8, go ahead. Number 8 is the local use fee subcommittee members, Leanne.
So we did have one member that would like to become a member of the local use fee subcommittee, and that's Ron Gold from McCain.
Thanks, Ron.
What I do?
part of the subcommittee for the local use fee. Thank you for stepping up.
So I think it has to be voted on by the committee to be added.
Okay, do I have a motion to bring Ron Bolin as a local use fee subcommittee member?
I'll motion it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you very much.
Anybody else out there that wants to step up?
And everybody's welcome to come to the meetings
Okay,
and join us.
thank you. Number 9, PennDOT tip projects letting in 2023. Brian, are you taking on?
Yep. Yep. Yes, I am. Thank you. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna stay seated for the presentation
Yeah.
because of the layout of the room here. Hopefully the folks online can see that, or we'll be able to shortly the presentation that we're sharing. This is just an annual update. Tom McClellan normally gives this update, the AD of design. He happens to be at a conference in Harrisburg this week, along with several others from the design unit. So I'm going to go through it. This is really just an overview of a quick overview of District 1 portfolio for 2023, and then we'll quickly get right into specific Erie projects. These are projects that are letting where bids are opened in the 2023 calendar year. So we may have had, I was just discussing with Mark before the meeting began, other projects like Edinburgh Road, SR 699 over I-90, which let before the end of 2022. So that still is a new project, and there's lots of others like that are, maybe let in 2022 or even before that are going to be starting or continuing construction. These ones today are just new ones. I-90 reconstruct is another that comes to mind, of course, that let in a prior year, but it's still working its way through completion. So a summary of what we have let to date. Is there a slide before this? Is there a slide before that? Yeah, just real quick, in case the team didn't know, we know that people on this committee and others interact with multiple positions in the district. Recent retirements are Paul Miller, Mark Bradle, Todd Palmer, Brian Bone, and Sean Painter. They're all out of the design unit. In particular, you may have worked with Paul Miller, who is the district plans engineer. Mark Bradle was involved in the local bridge or local use fee, I think, committee. So most of those 5 people had 35 years of experience. So just like every other industry, we're experiencing that. Those are all engineers or designers. And again, that's a lot of experience that walked out the door. So Tom did some changes to the assignments. So Ron Johnson, who had been coming to these meetings, was design services engineer. He now has filled Paul Miller's vacancy. So Ron, we won't be seeing as much of. He is the plans engineer. Mark Nicholson, who many of you have worked with also before, was our district bridge engineer. He now moved into Ron's spot. So again, he's in Harrisburg right now, but we will be seeing more of him as far as just managing the portfolio of projects and coming to these meetings. Go on to the next one, please. So our overall, we're looking at 68 projects this year worth about $180 million. That's the total district portfolio. So it's a big one, a big year in dollar value. We've let 22 district wide to date worth $33.4 million. We've got 46 to go. Next slide, please. This kind of shows a breakdown of what types of projects have let to date and what's yet to be advertised. The black numbers, like 5 paving projects, that's district wide. In parentheses, the red one indicates one of those is in Erie County. So the red numbers are all Erie County. So for Erie, we've had 1 paving project, 2 bridge projects, and then yet to be advertised are 6 more paving projects, 2 more bridge projects, a bicycle and pedestrian, 3 safety, and then 7 local projects. Next slide, please. And again, the remainder of these slides are all the projects that we'll let this year through ECMS. Some of those are local projects, so City of Erie or other township projects. So we're including them in this report. And before we move from this slide, I know I probably put a plug in for it all the time. That is of course, the 5 Points roundabout at Hammett and Oliver. If anybody has not driven through that intersection yet, it's not far from here. I encourage you to take a spin through there. We've gotten really positive feedback on that huge improvement to that intersection by the Erie Technical School there.
Yes, and we've had a lot of, compliments on how wonderful it is.
Good, it's great.
No negatives.
That's great.
Sure, there's some out there.
I'm sure. Like my mom, there's probably some that won't drive through that intersection anymore to avoid a roundabout, but we think it's a huge success. Definitely a great safety improvement. So I'll talk about some bridges that led already. Bargain Road over I-79 and Morehouse Road over I-90. Those were packaged together, let in January. It's not a full replacement, it's a restoration. So we will do deck repairs, work on plug dams. Plug dams are problematic to us. It's a term, if you don't know what that means, it's where we have an expansion joint on the bridge that you'll see on the deck. And as you're driving over it, you'll feel that little bump. The plug dam itself is when we have asphalt pavement over top of that bridge, they put a special, supposed to be flexible type of asphalt material in there called a plug dam. So we often have to repair those, often struggle with those as far as the material goes. Next slide, please. This is another one on Edinburgh Road, a much smaller bridge than the one over I-90. This is over Walnut Creek in Summit Township. Will be replaced with a 15-foot box culvert. And if you're following online, you can see low bid prices and low bidder and things like that at the bottom of the screen. Next. SR90 MO1 is a crack sealing project. So we're always trying to draw a balance and figure out what and when are the best projects, maintenance type projects to put out the contract. This year, we decided to do any crack sealing on the interstates in the district that were due, put them out as a contract. So this isn't TIP funded. This is funded with county, PennDOT county maintenance budgets, but just wanted to show it to the group. Next slide. This is a paving project around the borough, around Union City. You can see the routes there, SR6, 8, and 197, pretty much throughout the borough and go into the borough lines there, just a mill base repair, drainage improvements and ADA improvements. That was just let beginning of March. So those were the ones that were let to date. And now we'll shift to the ones that are on the let schedule in the future. So go ahead to the next slide. This is Route 6N from roughly I-90 down to 215 in Conneaut and Springfield Township, 7 miles of paving. We're also fixing one particular super elevation around a curve near a stream. We're going to fix that and do a few safety improvements there. Next slide. SR20 Ridge Road from Chestnut Parkway in the borough of Girard. So this is another milling job through Girard to let in at the end of March. ANTP means anticipated notice to proceed. I should have clarified that at the beginning, but if we open bids on March 30th, a project like this, anticipated notice to proceed would be mid-May. So this again is a pretty short paving project that would definitely be done in this construction season. Next one. This is really 26th Street. It's been paved. So this is the follow-up of installing traffic signals, building some sidewalk and ADA curb ramps, 3 miles worth, and that's letting also March 30th. Next one. This is the safety improvements on the Bayfront Parkway from 6th Street, from Port Access Road to 12th Street. So we're really narrowing lanes through there. We're doing piano key or highly visible crosswalks. We're doing countdown timers, audible push buttons, coordinated traffic signals. There is because we're narrowing the lanes, the goal was to build sort of a refuge island in the center of that 4-lane section. So that's part of it. Next slide. Lake Pleasant Road from Arbuckle Road to Barton Road in Venango and Green Townships, 2.5-inch binder overlay with the seal coat. So this is one, the finished product will be an improved pavement structure with the seal coat on it. So we apply those where we think it's appropriate, and this is one that fit that bill. That'll be done this year. Next slide. So these are, you can kind of see on the map there where we're looking at around Northeast Borough and Township, but SR 89, 7.5 miles, SR 426, 1.5 miles of paving, 2-inch milling paving, base repair, ADA, the usual stuff. Next slide. The Erie Bikeway Loop. I did not get a chance to talk to my friends here at the city. So it is on our let schedule, and I'll follow up with them and see if there's any updates, but next slide, please. Central Bayfront Parkway project needs no introduction. We're saying, estimated costs that we're showing on these slides, we're obviously being very general here, cost over $20 million. When we get close to the point of advertisement and letting, we start to talk more in ranges than our specific design level estimates. So I don't know off the top of my head what the range is. Would you know, Courtney? 60 to 70, roughly. So 60 to 70 million. That construction estimate has changed slightly, but not significantly, I'd say, over the last really 6 months or so, as we've gotten to the point of final design. I don't know if there was an update on this the last time we had a meeting here. Where we are right now, yes, we were hoping to have let by now. We were really hoping to let in November of 22 was our best hope, and we understood that it could push into the winter. It's pushed longer than we'd like it to. The status is that we have again, very unique, iconic pedestrian bridge. It's part of that project. We have a very good consultant team designing it, another very good consultant team doing the peer review of that bridge, and it's very complex. So we didn't want to put it out on the street until we knew that everybody was comfortable with every aspect of that design, and that's kind of where we are right now. Everything else is absolutely ready to go, and as soon as we finalize a few minor details and calculations regarding that bridge, we'll be ready to advertise. We really hope that that's within the next 2 to 3 weeks. So that's our goal. Next slide. Nehemiah Road was mentioned earlier because of the administrative action that was done to make sure that it was fully funded. Let date is May 11th. And again, this is a rehabilitation of a historic covered bridge, and it's got some special funds that have been awarded to it for quite some time now, but they are specifically for this type of project. So again, that was close to $1 million. Close to $1 million of that particular type of fund going towards this project, money that we could not use anywhere else. So it's a great fit for this project. Next slide. And that's a local one, of course. Another local one is the Downtown Erie Active Transportation Project. So you can see the scope of it there. That's also set to let in May at this point. Next slide, please. Another local project, City of Erie, local federal aid routes. Where are we looking at here? Miller Avenue, Holland Street, East Avenue, and Port Access Road. Sound about right? Resurfacing, milling, paving, and curb ramps to let in June. Next slide. Cleland Avenue is another federal aid route in the City of Erie from 26th Street to 30th, let date of June 22nd. And again, these local federal aid routes, as most people here know, are funded by the local federal aid route line item on the Erie MPO tip. So I think that's been a very successful program, something the MPO has done really well. So Depot Road is another project that's been in design for a long time. It does rise above our common projects as far as complexity goes. It says that we're resurfacing, paving, concrete work, stormwater management. you know, really this project throughout the length of Depot Road, it's a vertical curve reconstruction type project. So we're really trying to smooth out a pretty steep hill and widen a little bit there. So that's part of the reason that there's a lot of stormwater. There's a stormwater control pond. There's a little bit of other improvements around the school driveway and things like that. So this is, you know, really a capital improvement type project, not just a paving or a betterment type project. This was born out of the study that was done several years ago, probably 8 years ago now, that looked at all of Depot Road. We're replacing the concrete, as you can see on the image on the right there, that concrete pavement that is in really bad condition right now by the 90 interchange will all be rebuilt with new concrete paving.
Yeah, that's right. Here, sorry, Brian.
No problem. I needed a breather. Nagel Road is a local federal aid route in Harbor Creek Township. Same scope, milling, paving, curb ramps.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, sorry. Yep.
Union City Borough, TASA, which is Transportation Alternative Set Aside, again, something that we try to push and really encourage municipalities to go for federal funding for pedestrian or bicycle type improvements. So they're going to see some new sidewalks as a result of this project.
Go next.
The let date in August. That I did that one already. Yeah, oh, go the other direction, maybe. Keep going. Oh, sorry, other way. Yeah, right there. There we go. Thank you. ITS improvements is something that was partly funded by the Erie MPO, partly funded by funds available through central office. So additional ITS boards like the ones shown in the picture there, cameras and everything. Of course, we can access those boards from our control center in the district office, and in other places we can change those messages as needed to alert people to any kind of traffic conditions or accidents, time to reach their destination, things like that. So those will be one at Interchange Road and one at Peach Street. Yeah, go the other. Yes, yeah, there you go. Wildman Road over Townley Run in Greenfield Township. This is just a restoration, so not a full replacement, but we'll extend the life of that bridge. As you can see in the photo, it needs it. Next. Steratania Road over I-90 will be let in December. It's just a simple rehabilitation. Again, we're, of course, our bridges are inspected every 2 years at minimum. So in this case, it's a steel bridge with steel rocker bearings that were out of tolerance, just meaning, and that's a pretty common thing, that those rocker bearings, you see them tilt back and forth throughout the year as they're supposed to. Sometimes you'll get a ratcheting effect or some other reason why they extend beyond where they should be tilted. So it will fix that and a few other things at that time. Next slide.
Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
We're looking at a huge warehouse going in there, and there's discussion about changing that intersection.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. We are aware of that. We've had some discussions about it, but let's keep communicating over it as far as the timeline of things goes and stuff. I know our permits unit has been involved. I think there's some discussion about the bridge, with and whether or not it'll serve. Yeah, we'll keep talking about that. Thanks. The Bayfront Parkway at Cranberry. I think this might be my last slide if you're starting to get tired of this. It's great project though. I think everybody's excited about this one. So hats off to the city for prompting it forward and the MPO for funding it. A signal at Cranberry Street and the Bayfront Parkway in the city of Erie. Of course, pedestrian signal with audible push buttons and all that. The works will be included in that one. And check if there is one more. Still going. So we have some ADA ramps in Mill Creek Township. We'll be working on letting this year. Next slide, please. Any questions on any of those? I know it's a lot. It's a big program in Erie. We just presented Mercer's yesterday. Tom did. It was a much shorter with a lot fewer slides, and that's a good thing for Erie. There's I think a lot of good projects, so things are moving well. Yeah, I'm sorry, say again.
Rice Avenue and Route 20.
Yep.
And we were,
Was that not part of the paving in Girard? No.
I think the scope was expanded to be, because the Gerard Hotel was demolished. I
Okay.
believe there was,
widening it.
they're widening that intersection.
Streets.
Do you know if that was incorporated into the paving project?
I don't know I'll
Okay,
check. Widening, are you saying signal work or street lighting? What-
Well, the street lighting is changing.
Okay.
Street, they're gonna have
It's one of the early
separate light
ones.
for- And widening the turn, so sunrise and stuff can make it without taking out the point.
Okay. Okay.
They've been there for a long number of years.
So that's the hope you're saying, and is there a local project or something?
That was approved.
Okay,
That just hasn't happened so far.
okay, we'll follow up. Do you know
Yeah,
any
it-
more
it
about
sh-
that?
It
Courtney?
should be part of the project.
As far as I know, it's part of that, project. It was, decided, but I'll follow up with you.
Okay.
Thanks.
Good question. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm just saying thank you. Oh,
Route 20 in west of all that. Yeah, that's very, I mean, the riders. I mean, PennDOT did that back maybe 4 or 5 years ago, but they were putting riders in on
Yeah,
the manhole covers and that, and here, complaints about that. That is wondering when they're going to be blown off.
yeah. I don't know, you mean when it's gonna be, you said it was just paved in the last, Few years.
Probably 4 years, 4 or 5 years.
yeah,
Like I say, they never put the riding.
yeah,
I've been hearing about it.
Well,
With the
yeah.
cars going through there like a pothole all the time.
Yeah, yeah, I'll tell you, I mean, that's always been a struggle, because it involves a certain level of partnership with the municipality,
Yeah.
whoever owns the manholes. So we see that often. It's a pet peeve of mine, just like everybody else who drives over them. You got brand new pavement, but you're still hitting these big dips. So, we do have, at the district, we're working on a internal project to try to find a way to make that work more smoothly, because sometimes, and I don't know the particulars of Wesleyville, it's just that, often we'll run into old manholes crumbling and they're not ours. So, we're not gonna, get into that with the paving project. And often we need partnership with the municipality, and sometimes they're able to do it and coordinate it, and sometimes they aren't, but we're doing everything we can to try to fix that in general, but I don't.
just didn't know if there was timeline on when they were gonna do.
Yeah, yeah.
Route 20.
Yeah, since we don't own them, if that project was done 4 or 5 years ago, unfortunately, my answer would be that's a better question for the township, the municipality in question, it's the when they would adjust the risers.
So I'm talking about when are they gonna be paid? You guys have any idea when they're gonna be paid?
No, I don't know off the top of my head, but we can look it up. If it was just done in the last 4 years, we shoot for a roughly 12-year cycle. So.
Martin Road in 99, I'm sure you're gonna coordinate that. Our flow into Mill Creek, 99 is closed, our flow into Mill Creek is gonna be part of it. So
Yeah,
they can't be closed at the same time.
yeah, we do have we've got, I'll say in general, we've got that covered, but I'll check on that one specifically. We've got a map of every project where detours, where closures will be included to make sure that we're not causing conflicts of 2 projects like that, but I'll check on that one. Thanks.
All right, thanks, Brian.
Thanks.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Other business, we're gonna bounce ahead to EMTA. Danny?
Now, this is Dave. Danny's not here today.
Okay, Dave.
So I got a couple of big things to report on. The reason I asked to be pushed up is I have to jump on an FTA call at 11. We're finalizing the grant to finish our our transit-oriented development space on 14th Street underneath our parking ramp. So we're in the process of getting qualifications from engineering and architecture firms. We hope that we'll be able to bid it out and have a construction company start work in the late spring, early summer. We got 18,000 square feet of retail space and a transit center, which is really a customer service center. It's a place for people to, go inside in between buses, et cetera. But the other big news that I wanted to share is that we are now beginning the process to work toward a new transit development plan. Back in 2018, the board was presented with a transit development plan from the company Foursquare, and it was a canned version that we just didn't like. Nobody liked it. We never adopted it. We're now on the verge of working with Rockland Consulting to do a really deep dive transit development plan that will look at what we need for now as well as the future. It's going to be a very extensive process of input and consultations. So MPO members will be reached out to for their thoughts and ideas during the process. We're really excited about it. The transit system that we have now was developed essentially in the 80s, and it mostly was to get people from downtown out to the mall area. Where things have changed so dramatically, especially demographics in Erie, the business locations, et cetera, the traffic patterns. So we're going to be looking at all of that and coming up with plans to put in front of the public and our stakeholders. So keep an eye out for that. That's exciting. And I just want to, while I have the opportunity, I just wanted to give a shout out, thank you to Mayor Schember and Renee Lamus, because it was their intervention with Senator Casey's office that got the FTA to really, it really shook them up and got them moving, so that within a month now, we're going to have the money we've been trying to get for 2 years. So thank you both. That's all I have.
All right, thanks, Dave. We'll bounce back up to F, PennDOT District 1 updates.
Most of the items that we would be talking about, we discussed in the presentation that Brian gave, but there is a copy of the February newsletter in the packet from today. We are working on Marches. It's going to focus on all of the local bridge projects that are going on. If anyone has any project specific questions, let me know. But I didn't have anything more than what we'd already discussed.
Do you know, are they going to do like a press release on the bridge over I-90 on Edinburgh Road and?
For the closure?
Yeah, for the closure. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. We
Yeah.
announced it at our public meeting, but trying to make sure it gets blasted out to everybody.
Our standard is to put a sign up, given the 2 weeks,
Okay.
notice to the drivers, and also to do a press release. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
That means you're actually taking out that road.
No. No, we were just talking about Edinburgh Road Bridge project.
Okay, thank you. Going over to G, federal updates. Ronique's there.
Is Ron on the line? Check that.
I had heard that she wasn't going to be, so.
All right, so nothing on the federal updates. Okay, thank you. PennDOT central office updates.
Yep, this is Brandon Leach again. I'll go ahead and cover these if you can hear me. So there's just a couple things to touch on. Some of this might be repetitive information depending on what you're, depending on if you've received email blasts from other sources. But I first wanted to touch on the STC and PennDOT announcing the start of the 2025 TYP public outreach campaign. As you may have heard, that the State Transportation Commission and PennDOT announced the the public outreach campaign for the 12-year program, or TYP as we refer to it. The 2023 Transportation Performance Report was approved during the February 22nd STC meeting. And this report contains information about how Pennsylvania's transportation system performed over the last 2 years. I have some links for these updates as well. I'll share with Emily and she can disseminate to the group after the meeting also. So, but in addition to having this report come out, there is now a transportation survey available on the STC website. It's open from March 1st to April 30th of this year. And there will be an online public forum on April 12th from 6:30 to 8 p.m. that anyone can attend online or call in as well. So that's basically the coverage for that public outreach. Moving on, there's also the NEVI, the National Electric Vehicle Infrastructure. The PennDOT Electric Vehicle Grant Program has begun. There was a notice of funding opportunity for round 1 of the National Electric Vehicle Grant Program, and it opened on February 24th of this year. All applications must be submitted electronically through the PA Department of Community and Economic Development's e-grant system. The deadline for that is 5 p.m. on April 6th. And just moving on from that, with all the discretionary grant opportunities that are coming out through the US DOT, PennDOT has designed a IIJA bill website on the PennDOT website, and this allows anyone to go on and see the general schedule of what funding opportunities are available, a breakdown of, there's nice fact sheets for each one to tell you who can apply, what requirements there are, what the timelines are. And I'll share that link as well, but it's on the PennDOT website. So, and in addition to that, there's also a resource account that you can reach out with any additional questions that I'll share as well. And the last thing I wanted to cover, actually second last thing I wanted to cover, we have the 2023 municipal outreach sessions. They're coming up this spring. This is your opportunity to interact with PennDOT, your local metropolitan planning organization or rural planning organization, and other municipalities in your area. And this is part of the PennDOT Connects outreach as well. So there will be an overview of the PennDOT Connects municipal resources that are available at these sessions. And there's also a number of topics that will be covered that, again, are open to anyone in the public can sign up. The infrastructure and the IIJA grant opportunities will be covered with available support. PennDOT's 12-year program survey, so like I just touched on. Also the National Electric Vehicle Infrastructure Program, and resources from the Department of Community and Economic Development, as well as conservation natural resources. So I'll be sharing a link for that. There are 2 opportunities for the District 1 area, which covers Erie County. They're both on Tuesday, April 11th. They'll be virtual, and the first opportunity is from 1 to 3 p.m. and the second is from 5 to 7 p.m. So you'll see more information for that, but it's all also on the PennDOT webpage under the PennDOT Connects tab. And the last thing I wanted to cover is actually in regards to my supervisor, Kevin McCullough, who will be retiring at the end of this month. So I just wanted to kind of put that out there. And since this will be his last coordinating committee meeting with Erie County, and if he's still on the line, if you'd like to say a few words, I'd open the floor to him. So it's all yours, Kevin.
Yep. Thanks, Brandon. Yep. I'm here. Hopefully everybody can hear me. Yeah, I just wanted to, again, just thanks, Brandon, for the send off. And again, I've just been very blessed to work with the great people out in Western PA. I was originally from Sharon, PA, so I'm very familiar with Erie County growing up out that way. And I've worked with the folks in Erie County for a number of years in Brandon's capacity and also in my current capacity. And it's 20 plus years, so it goes way back, probably before many of you are members of the committee. But I again, I just like to express my thanks. You're a great group to work with. Very fortunate to have Brian McNulty and his leadership out there in District 1 delivering projects. You guys are very fortunate to have such a good team out there. Believe me when I tell you that. It's very easy to work with his staff and work with Brian himself. And again, I look at all those projects being delivered, like that's just fantastic news. It's just really good to see a lot of this stuff getting done. So congratulations on that. And again, all the good staff people that I've worked with over the years with the coordinating committee and the county itself, again, couldn't ask for better people to work with. I've been to, of course, with COVID and everything, haven't been to a lot of meetings lately. So, which is really disappointing for me because I always enjoyed my trips up to Erie. So anyway, with that, thanks everyone. I wish you the best of luck moving forward. And again, really appreciate all the good work that the coordinating committee does and the technical committee does and moving projects forward. So thanks again and really appreciate it and good luck to everyone in your future endeavors.
Thanks, Kevin.
Thanks, Kevin.
Hope you enjoy your retirement.
Thank you very much.
All right, that's all I had to cover. So, yep.
All right, thanks, Brandon.
Mhm.
Bounce down to J, the LRTP to be voted on for adoption into Erie County Comprehensive Plan. Emily, you want to discuss that one?
Yes, so I wanted to let everyone know that our LRTP, which we adopted according to federal regulation, is going before Erie County Council to be adopted into the county's comprehensive plan, because the county is has to follow the state rules, the municipal planning code. It needs to have its own comprehensive plan. So if anyone sees any information about this, there is a hearing of the public on the plan Tuesday, March 28th at 4 p.m. in Erie County Council Chambers, room 114A. So that will be on the MPO's LRTP to be adopted into the Erie County Comprehensive Plan. So I wanted to let everyone know that that's happening. I think it'll be good to have more collaboration between all the different organizations and have it officially adopted as part of the county comprehensive plan.
Wonderful. Thank you. Hearing of the public. Hearing none, motion to adjourn.
Oh, I'm sorry, was that when I was supposed to?
Yeah, sure,
Okay.
sure.
I'm Danielle Snyder Graham. I'm a resident of Summit. I was at the meeting this past Monday and Mr. Jonas invited me to come here, so this would be the best venue to have my questions answered. They've recently updated the municipal map and have notated on there the possible future expansion of Peach Street between Robson Road and Dorm Road, as well as possible improvements to storm sewers. And he had indicated that there was no set timeline yet. And I was wondering if anyone could tell me any additional information. Getting in and out of our houses is getting to be ridiculous. And I wasn't sure if this is a project waiting for commercial construction for someone to come in and develop, or if it's anything we have a timeline on.
Yeah, I can put some
Right.
information.
Yeah, so on our comprehensive plan, we have a priority in there. It came from our comprehensive plan and everything, have the center turn lane that we currently have near Town Hall Road in Dorn, to extend it from Dorn Road to Robinson Road, so that whole section would have the center turn lane. And we've discussed it a little bit in the past, and I think I spoke with Tom about it and basically said, whenever we have a project, we'll look into possibly incorporating it into that project. So I'm not sure what the timeline is for a project along that stretch of Peach Street. So
Yeah,
that's kind of the question.
okay, yeah, and we'll have to look it up and. do
Right
you have
now,
some-
we have it tentatively scheduled to occur in about 2026. That's when we have the section between Dorn and Robinson going. It'll be following from 90 to Rotunda. So we've got a couple different sections on 19 that we're looking at doing. And so that one right now, I have a 2026.
Okay.
Timeframe right now.
Would that include the stormwater, sewer line improvements also, since they'll be currently in that ditch right there?
Yes,
Yes.
drainage, yeah, drainage would be included. I don't know that, I think probably what's on our tip is a betterment in that year, right, 2026. So the groundwork has been laid. I think that, I can't commit today that a center turn lane would be part of that project in 3 years from now. But we'll get back with you all in the township and discuss it more. And of course, the MPO would have a say, and if there's a significant additional amount of money that would be needed to take it from just a betterment to a widening, it would be a matter of dollars in the end, how much that would take, and whether the MPO supports it, whether or not it can be afforded, all those things.
Yeah, and I would add, I know that project was in our long-range transportation plan
Okay.
that is going before county council in March that we adopted. So as a standalone project, it is in the long-range transportation plan.
Okay, yeah, good. Well, it sounds like all the parts are in the right place, and then it's when we get to that point, and really, the 2025 tip update, we just started the 2023 tip in October. That means that in January, we started the next tip update, right? So you get about 2 months to breathe, and now you're starting that process again. But I'm on the financial guidance committee, so a handful of district and MPO, RPO representatives with Program Center are working on that financial guidance, hopefully to be released, this spring sometime for sure. So those conversations about what's next and how much money is available and stuff will be starting this summer, really. So we'll circle back. Thanks.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Is there anybody else? Do I have a motion to adjourn?
So move.
All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Yeah.